Okay, so next we have our paper presentation um, on maritime waste to wealth management to be delivered by Mrs. Uche Obaro. Now listen to this. I need you to be very, very attentive. All our speakers are fully equipped, like I said. They paid the price. They paid all the dues. I want you all to allow them to have a horse in your race because the future is near. Dr. Obaro, as the founder and CEO of Mitimeth, an award-winning artisan enterprise based in Nigeria, has traveled far and wide. She is a recent Vital Voices Global Ambassador Program Fellow. That's amazing. A round of applause for her, please. In the same vein, she was listed among the 2023 Leading Ladies Africa's 100 Most Inspiring Women in Nigeria. Another round of applause for her, please. She has been featured in notable international televisions like BBC, CNN, Google Africa, and she's got over 1.9 million views. Ladies and gentlemen, celebrate her. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MC. So I just want to correct my name. You butchered mine as well, but you didn't butcher it. You called me a different name. My name is Achenyo Obaro. I also go by Ache, which is the short form. I am here this morning. Well, first and foremost, before I continue, I just want to say a very big thank you to Mrs. Williams for the invitation, and also to our hosts, APM Terminals Nigeria, for hosting us in this very lovely facility. Happy Children's Day. I know it was on the 27th, but nonetheless we're still celebrating it. So happy Children's Day to all of you. I am here this morning with two lovely young persons. They're actually interns at Mitimeth. I'm the founder, as he mentioned, of Mitimeth. Mitimeth is a social enterprise based here in Nigeria. We're into materials innovation as well as an artisan enterprise. So I'm here on my right is Ehi Una, and on my left is Susan Obaro. They're both interns from the University of Lagos, and they're studying marine science, and they're in their fourth year, so they're going to spend the next 6 months with us at Mitimeth. So I thought it would be lovely to have them here. So if you have questions on the courses they're studying, they'll be more than happy to share that with you. So before we start, we've heard a lot of conversation about maritime, as well as maritime careers and whatnot. So to gauge whether you have been paying attention, we're going to start off with a quiz, all right? So I have a few questions, and there are prizes to be won, so there's an incentive here. All right, so there was mention made of two opportunities or industry opportunities that have evolved or have come up in Nigeria. Can you remember what those two opportunity areas are? There are two industries that were highlighted, which are new, that were just created by the current administration. Can anyone remember what those industries are? No, this is for students, not the teachers, please. All right, yes. You have your hand up. What? Creative industries. All right, lovely. Thank you. What's the second one? Can I see a hand? Creative industries. What else? Are you raising your hand? Ha. Can I cold call? QC, pass on the torch. All right, please. What's the second one? Don't fall my hand, QC. What's the second one? Okay, you're looking down, flipping into your, what's the second one? Yes. Well, that's what we're here about. There's another economy that was mentioned. Yes? Thank you very much. Can we clap for these two? All right, then, so Susan, give them 1 pen each. It's inside that envelope in the basket that you had, the small basket. All right. Okay, so lovely. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is our QR code right here. There will still be other opportunities for you to get something, right? So you just need to pay attention. Please can we scroll to the next sheet? So Mrs. Williams talked about STEAM. She talked about STEM and that we're moving into STEAM. And I'm here to tell you that you can cross over. The GM, when he spoke, the GM of APM Terminals, Mr. Steen, when he spoke, said that you just need to be open-minded and curious and not necessarily focused on this is what I must be. It's nice to have an idea, but don't be so fixated on the fact that this is the only way to go. So she talked about STEM and she talked about STEAM, the A in STEAM being arts. I studied computer science and not only got an undergraduate degree in it, so I got a BSc in computer science, and then I got a master's in computer science. So I was heavy tech. That's my background. And after doing all of that, I worked a little bit in the industry and then crossed over. I got a business degree, so got an MBA and said, okay, I want to have my finger on the pulse to understand how business runs, not just coding, doing program analyst jobs, and so on and so forth. So I moved into the business, and I actually worked in oil and gas. So I'm a bit familiar with the movements of the waters, because we had our crude carriers, I was involved in the downstream, we had to ship petroleum products to Nigeria, to the terminal over here. This was my previous job. And then guess what? I then decided that, oh, by the way, she talked about Jakpa and Jakpada, right? So I was in the US for 19 years straight. I got my undergraduate degree in Nigeria, by the way. 19 years straight, and I came back to Nigeria and decided to found this social enterprise called Mitimeth. So we'll talk a little bit about Mitimeth and what we do. So you'll see how I crossed over from a science-based background or tech background into the creative industry. All right, so can anyone, I know I have 10 minutes, so I'm MC, you have to put me on track. When I have like 3 minutes, please signal. All right, so can anyone tell me what we have here? What do you see on the screen? This is simple, I'm not quizzing you. What do you see on the screen? What do you see?
Water hyacinth.
What are, no, mommy. What do we see on the screen? You see grass. You see grass going on what? On water. So it's water. What's this grass called? Can anyone remember? Mrs. Williams mentioned it, yes? Water hyacinth. Thank you. So that's our third person. Give him a pen. All right. So this is water hyacinth on the waterways. What else can you see? What is this picture telling you? It's a hindrance. So somebody said it's a hindrance. That is exactly right. So water hyacinth is an invasive aquatic weed. We're talking about being in the maritime industry. Ships will be obstructed, boats will be obstructed by the presence of this weed. But we're here to tell you a different story, that it's not all bad news, because we're doing something about it at Mitimeth. So Mitimeth is about, taking 100% natural resources, of course plants are natural, and then we're taking our local skills and transforming them into beneficial use. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so as mentioned at Mitimeth, we transform waste resources into home decor, fashion accessories that essentially beautify your home and just add a different dimension. The conversation starters. And what I'd like you to do is just put this on the table put them in different spots so that people can see what we have done with the water hyacinth. You are going to model this, and I'll point to this later. So you can roll it out. Can anyone tell us what we have here? What? A mat that says what? So it's the Nigerian flag. All right, so these are some of the things that we make. Can we move on to the next slide? And there are actually 4 steps that we go through. So as you can see, the plant that you saw on the waterways was green. But the products that you're seeing here are not necessarily green. It's brown. So the first step is we harvest it from the waterways, and then we detach the stems and dry the water hyacinth. So that's number 2. And then number 3, we empower communities with skills to actually transform the water hyacinth into these products that you're seeing on the table and that she's holding. So different types of products. And to date, we have about over 150 makers within different communities across Nigeria that are actually working with water hyacinth. And these are communities that are affected by the infestation of water hyacinth. So what we're showing is that, you know, we can solve an environmental problem by taking the water hyacinth out, encouraging them to take the water hyacinth out of the waters, and then giving them skills or training them in skills that would enable them to earn an income. Because remember, Mrs. Williams talked about, you know, job opportunities. This is exactly what we're doing. We're creating job opportunities within the communities themselves. So people don't have to be running helter-skelter and saying, I have to leave my community under distress to come to Lagos so that I can find, you know, come to Lagos to find a job, etc. So we're actually providing jobs within these communities, all right? And then they earn an income from this as well. I'll move on to the next slide. All right, these are some of the products that we make from the water hyacinth, and as mentioned, we have some that are on display here, and we utilize different skills. So we actually look at some of the heritage practices that we have in Nigeria here. So how many of you are familiar with Ashoke? How many of you have Ashoke? All right, so you're all familiar with it. Ashoke is woven on a floor loom, right? So we have taken that same practice, this heritage practice, and we have taken our water hyacinth, so turn this around. Wow. And we've taken the same practice like this so that you can see. So when you see this from afar, you might think, this is Ashoke. But it's not. It's actually woven with water hyacinth. All right? So we take what we have and make use of it with new materials, which is one of the things that we mentioned earlier, that we're a materials innovation company. So if you talk about innovation, we're doing it right here in Nigeria within our organization. Let's see what we have last slide, because I'm out of time. All right, so that essentially is it. We have questions here. Maybe one quick question so that I can ask, because these are university students. Why are you studying marine science, Eki?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was intrigued by, okay, the earth is made up of 71% water. And I'm like, that's a lot. I want to know more about it and find out things about the ocean, what we can do to like maintain it, prevent pollution and everything, the aquatic organisms in the ocean, more things to find out. Yeah, that's basically.
All right, thank you very much, Ehi. And then Susan, what are some of the highlights? So you've been at Mitimeth for 2 months now. What are some of the highlights of interning with Mitimeth or interning at Mitimeth? What have you learned so far? Short, because he's already. See your mic.
So I've learned, the last time they took us to Obaro. So I learned a little about mountain. Very interesting.
Thank you very much. So you've heard from them. Thank you very much for your time. This is very short, but I also want to point out that if you're interested in interning at Mitimeth, we have opportunities. If you're interested in learning more about what we do, or even having workshops at your school, so we have teachers here, we're more than happy to do that as well. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and happy Children's Day.
A round of applause for us. Yes, thank you. Yes, we'd like to take 1 or 2 questions. One question from the students and one from the teachers. Do we have any question from the teachers? Okay, from the students. Do we have any question?
Yes.
Oh. Tell us your name first and
My name is Oweyele Jemima
from where, your school.
from Honeyland College.
Okay.
According to the quiz that you gave us about drying water hyacinths, how exactly do you dry them and make them readable?
Okay. Very good question. Thank you very much. So we harvest the water hyacinth from the water, so it doesn't have the roots and surface. So when you pull it, it's not like deeply entrenched in the water. So you pull it out, and you'll have probably about 5 or 6 stolons attached to a root system. And what we do is we detach the stem from the root system, and then we sun dry it. So what we do is all very sustainable. We make use of what we have within nature, so it's sun dried. And water hyacinth is 95% water. So we need only 5% of the dry weight for us to weave. So we keep it out during the dry season. It takes about 3 to 4 days for it to become golden brown and for the water to evaporate completely. And once it's evaporated, we can then take those stems and then weave the stems into rope. You're welcome. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you. A round of applause for her, please.
Did you all get your prizes? Those that? Okay. All right. Excellent.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That was insightful. Thank you.